If she looks at you and feels nothing, that doesn't mean you're not enough. It means you're showing her a version of yourself. That doesn't trigger desire. Listen to me carefully. Most men think attraction is about effort. More texts, more compliments, more explaining, more proving. And when she says, "I'm just not interested," you hear a verdict about your value. But as a psychologist who has worked with women for years, I need you to understand something uncomfortable. Attraction is not about how good you are. It's about how she feels in your presence. Desire is emotional contrast. When you walk into her life already fully invested, already convinced, already available at her every notification, you remove tension. And without tension, there is no spark. You become safe but not stimulating. And here's the truth. Most men were never taught. Women don't fall for men who chase approval. They fall for men who are emotionally grounded. If she's not interested right now, it's usually because she doesn't feel polarity. She doesn't feel uncertainty. She doesn't feel that subtle question in her mind. Where do I stand with him? When you overcommunicate your interest too early, you eliminate the mystery that fuels desire. You answer questions she hasn't had time to ask. Desire grows in space, and most men are terrified of space. You text back instantly. You clarify jokes so she won't misunderstand. You reassure her you're not seeing anyone else. You double text when she goes quiet. And every one of those behaviors whispers something to her nervous system. I need this. Neediness kills attraction faster than rejection. Because when a woman senses that you need her validation, she unconsciously shifts into a position of power. And power imbalance does not create chemistry, it creates pressure. Now, I'm not telling you to play games, I'm telling you to regulate yourself. When she doesn't reply, your mind spirals. You imagine another man, you feel invisible, you start performing harder. But attraction is not built through performance. It's built through presence. A man who is centered does not rush to prove. He does not panic when interest isn't instantly reciprocated. He observes. He leans back slightly. He allows her to invest and hear something that might sting. If she feels like she has already won you without effort, her brain stops releasing dopamine around you. Human beings crave what feels earned. When she feels she must earn your attention, your time, your emotional access, something shifts. She becomes curious. She leans forward. She starts wondering. You see, desire isn't created by convincing her you're amazing. It's created by allowing her to discover it. Most men overshare their value immediately. They talk about their job, their goals, their achievements, their loyalty. They lay it all out like a resume, but mystery is magnetic. Don't reveal everything at once. You let her uncover layers. You let her ask. You let her wonder what else is there. If she's not interested right now, it may not be because you lack something. It may be because you revealed everything too quickly and left no emotional tension to explore. There is a difference between being kind and being accommodating, between being confident and being available 24/7, between expressing interest and over-investing. The men who create desire are not louder. They are calmer. They listen more than they speak. They hold eye contact a second longer. They smile but don't over-smile. They end conversations first. Sometimes they have a life that does not revolve around her reaction. When she senses that your world is full, she wonders where she fits. And that question, where do I fit in his life, is the beginning of desire. You cannot force attraction, but you can stop suffocating it if she's not interested. Step back emotionally, not to punish her, not to manipulate her, but to regain your center. Because a man who is centered is rare, and rarity creates value. The moment she feels that losing access to you is possible, her perception shifts. Not because you threatened, not because you begged, but because you stopped overgiving. Desire does not grow when you chase. It grows when you create space for her to move toward you. And that starts with mastering your own emotional impulses. Let me tell you something most men misunderstand about women. When she says she's not interested, she is describing her current emotional state, not your permanent value. Attraction is fluid. It shifts with perception, and perception shifts with behavior. Right now, if she doesn't feel desire, it's because her brain has categorized you in a certain role. Maybe safe, maybe predictable, maybe too available, maybe too easy to read. Once that label sticks, her emotional system relaxes around you. And relaxed is comfortable, but comfortable is not electric. You cannot argue your way out of that category. You cannot persuade her into wanting you. Logic does not create chemistry. Emotion does. Here's what actually changes her perception. Contrast. If you have been overly available, become selectively available. If you have been constantly initiating, allow silence. If you have been trying to impress, start observing instead. Not as a tactic, as a reset. When you stop trying to win her, something powerful happens. The dynamic destabilizes. She feels the shift. Women are highly attuned to emotional energy. When your attention pulls back slightly, she notices. Not consciously at first, but her nervous system registers the difference. And that difference creates curiosity. Curiosity is the doorway to desire. But here's the part most men ruin. When she reaches out again, even slightly, they explode with excitement. They respond instantly. They overengage. They signal relief. And the dynamic snaps back to where it was. Desire requires emotional steadiness. When she messages you after distance, respond warmly but calmly. Mirror her investment. If she sends one message, send one back. If she asks a question, answer it without turning it into a full interview about her day. Match her pace. Women are drawn to men who do not emotionally spike with every small sign of attention. Stability feels powerful. Emotional control feels safe and intriguing at the same time. Now let's go deeper. Attraction grows when a woman feels seen but not chased. Most men either ignore emotional depth or dive too deep too fast. They ask surface questions or they interrogate her soul on the second date. The middle ground is where desire lives. Instead of trying to impress her, notice her, comment on something subtle, the way her tone changes when she talks about something meaningful, the way she pauses before answering certain questions. When a woman feels accurately observed, she feels understood, and feeling understood creates emotional intimacy. But do not combine that with neediness. You can say you get quiet when you talk about your family. That tells me it matters to you, and then let the silence sit. You don't rush to fill it. You don't rescue her from vulnerability. You hold it calmly. That composure is magnetic. Desire is not just physical. It's psychological. It's about how she feels around you. Does she feel tension? Does she feel depth? Does she feel that you are not easily shaken? If she senses that your mood depends on her validation, she unconsciously feels pressure. And pressure kills intrigue. But when she senses that you enjoy her company without needing it, she relaxes into attraction. Another truth, unpredictability fuels chemistry. I'm not talking about inconsistency or emotional games. I'm talking about dimension. Don't always agree immediately, have opinions. Lightly challenge her perspective sometimes, not aggressively, playfully. When you gently disagree with confidence, you signal strength. If she says, I don't think relationships work long term, instead of nodding desperately to align with her, you might smile and say, I think they work when two people are emotionally mature. Most just aren't. Now you've introduced depth. You've introduced polarity. Desire requires a slight edge. If you are always agreeable, always accommodating, always adapting to her frame, you disappear inside it. Women are drawn to men who have their own internal frame, their own standards, pace, and boundaries. If she cancels last minute repeatedly, you don't beg for another slot. You calmly say, let's plan, when your schedule clears up and you pull back, not angrily, not dramatically, calmly. And here is the psychological shift that changes everything. When she feels that psychological shift that changes everything, access to you is not guaranteed. Your value rises in her perception. Scarcity triggers attention, but forced scarcity feels manipulative. Authentic scarcity comes from genuinely having a life, goals, routines, discipline, focus that does not collapse because of one woman's interest. When your time feels structured, when your attention feels intentional, she senses that being part of your world is earned. That is when not interested can slowly evolve into curiosity, and curiosity handled correctly becomes desire. There is something deeper than tactics, deeper than timing, deeper than what you text or when you call. It's identity. A woman does not desire a man because of what he does occasionally. She desires him because of who he consistently is. If she's not interested, ask yourself something brutally honest. When she looks at you, does she see direction, or does she see someone waiting to be chosen? Women are biologically and psychologically wired to respond to certainty, not arrogance, not dominance. Certainty. When you are unclear about your purpose, your standards, your boundaries, your entire energy feels negotiable. And negotiable energy is not attractive. Desire is sparked by stability with edge. A man who knows what he wants in life and in relationships radiates something different. His posture changes, his tone slows down, he does not rush his words, he does not over-explain himself, he does not panic when misunderstood. He clarifies once, then he stands still. That stillness is powerful. Most men, when sensing disinterest, try to increase their value externally. Better clothes, better photos, more money talk, more social proof. But attraction is primarily emotional and psychological. If you walk into a room needing validation, she will feel it before you say a word. If you walk into a room already validated by your own direction, she will feel that too. Confidence is not loud, it's regulated. When she tests you, and she will, she's not trying to attack you, she's measuring your emotional stability. If she teases you, disagrees with you, challenges your opinion, she's watching your reaction. Do you crumble? Do you get defensive? Do you over-justify? Or do you smile slightly and stay grounded? A man who can absorb light tension without emotional leakage communicates strength at a primal level, and strength creates safety. Here's another truth you were never taught. Women are not attracted to perfection. They are attracted to progression. If she senses that you are evolving physically, mentally, financially, emotionally, she feels momentum around you. Momentum is exciting. But if she senses stagnation, even if you are nice, even if you are stable, something inside her goes quiet. Desire needs forward motion. That doesn't mean you need to be rich or famous. It means you need to be building something. Your body, your skills, your discipline, your mindset. When your life has gravity, she feels pulled into orbit. When your life revolves around her, she feels suffocated. There is also something critical most men ignore: emotional self-control. During uncertainty, if she takes longer to respond, your imagination creates stories. If she seems distant, your fear spikes. If she mentions another man casually, your chest tightens. But the man she desires does not react impulsively. He observes patterns over time. He does not interrogate based on one moment. He does not compete with invisible rivals in his head. He stays composed, and composition under pressure is intoxicating. Women are drawn to men who are not easily destabilized, not because they want robots, but because emotional unpredictability in a man signals risk. If she senses that your mood depends on her, she feels responsible for regulating you. And responsibility kills romance. But when she feels that you regulate yourself, that you have hobbies, friendships, routines, ambition, she relaxes. And relaxed women open up. Another uncomfortable reality: sometimes she's not interested because she doesn't feel sexual polarity. If your conversations stay neutral, polite, friendly, you become categorized as safe. To shift that, you need subtle masculine presence. That means deeper eye contact, slower speech, occasional playful teasing, compliments that are specific but not worshipful. Instead of "you're so beautiful," which she hears constantly, try something layered, like you have a calm intensity when you're thinking it's attractive. Now you've acknowledged her femininity without placing her on a pedestal. Never pedestalize. The moment you treat her like the prize and yourself like the applicant, desire evaporates. You are not there to convince her, you are there to explore compatibility. That mindset shift changes your entire energy. If she senses that you are evaluating her too, her kindness, her emotional maturity, her alignment with your standards, she subconsciously respects you more. Respect precedes desire, and when respect grows, attraction has a foundation to stand on. You don't make a woman desire you by chasing her interest. You make her desire you by becoming a man whose presence feels grounded, directional, and emotionally controlled. When she feels that being with you would elevate her life rather than consume it, something inside her shifts.